Hey everybody, we're back for another episode of the Journey Up an Entrepreneur's Guide. I'm your host, Bryce Osepic, with my co-host, Brian Erickson. We are a group of real estate agents and investors here in Jacksonville, Florida that love to highlight other entrepreneurs and business leaders in our community. And we're super excited to be bringing on Devin Carvajal, who is a creative content manager for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So thanks for being on today.
What's up, boys?
How's it going, man?
It's good to see you guys in this setting.
Yeah,
it's
right.
so professional.
I know. It's a first.
Because this is the only place I see you guys in professional settings.
Exactly. You know how it is.
Right.
Well, it's good to have both sides, business and pleasure, and be able to have you on the show, not only as somebody that I look up to as a young entrepreneur, but also my friend. So thanks for being on here today.
Thanks
brother.
Thanks for thinking of me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So obviously, I talked to you a little bit about it before. We always, talk about art and a basis. And that's kind of the basis of the show, the journey up. And, Brylan and I have shared our Anabasis story already. So we wanted to kind of hear from you, where you came from and how you got to where you're at today.
Sure. My name is Devin Carvajal. Just going to start off with that one if you didn't know already. I'm from Miami, Florida originally. I was born in South Miami. Went to high school down there. When I graduated in 2014. I moved to Jacksonville in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I have a brother who lives here, and he kind of helped me get up here.
Was that your main reason for wanting to move to Jacksonville?
Yeah, I didn't really apply to many schools when I was in college, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really was my parents or my siblings. Nobody was go. Everybody else was doing it around me, but I never hopped on board.
Did you want to get out of Miami? Is that, or were you?
Yeah, I didn't think I wanted to until everybody else left.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe I need to get out of here. I was working at the airport at the time, with my dad. My dad was a cop. He got me a job at the airport. I was working at a sandwich shop.
Nice.
I was going to a community college down there, and I was like, dude, I need to get out of here. I almost joined the military.
Was that kind of where your motivation came from? Just not wanting to get stuck in the rut?
Yeah, I just didn't want. I just had to get out.
And
that's why I said I almost joined the military because I was I need to do something. I needed to felt like I needed to
get some structure.
Yeah, went to the recruiter and everything. And my brother who lives here, he heard that I was trying to do that, and he called me and he was like, "You're not." He heard that I was trying to join the military, and he called me and he was like, "You're not doing that. Just come to Jacksonville." I was like, "Yeah, all right, fine." So then I went to FSCJ.
Mm-hmm. Was he in school in Jacksonville?
My brother at the time was in his early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the early 30s. So he already he was already engaged.
He was already set in what he was
doing. He was here. He moved here. He moved here for because he was in a relationship with somebody. He moved to Jacksonville. I remember forget when he left, and then he ended up making a lot of friends and making a lot of money, and now he loves it up here. He does. He's another good guy you probably have on the show. He's great.
100%. Yeah.
He's a self-made dude. He's great. Now owns his own contracting company, and he's set. He's been set. So he was just move up here. We'll help you get started. All this stuff. So I moved up in early 2015. Went to FSCJ. I wanted to be a physical therapist, and I was like, I don't know. And then I think the year that I decided I wanted to do that, they were like, oh, you got to go to medical school to do that.
Yeah, you're in school for 8 years.
All right, well, let's be. I was always an artist, so I was like, you know what, let me do graphic design because I figure I can make money and not.
Always an artist. What do you mean growing up? You were just doing drawing or what?
Always an artsy kid. I was drawing. My brothers used to tell me he used to draw on the walls, on the ceilings when I was a kid. I never played sports. Was never, which is so funny now because I work in the NFL, but I never played sports. Never played sports. I tried. I sucked. I was not good. All my brothers.
Football your favorite sport?
Probably basketball. But I love football.
Yeah.
I love football. Go Jags. But yeah, I think I never played. I just wasn't good, and it didn't attract me like all my brothers did it. And now, I love it. I'm not an athlete. I run. I stay fit, but I never was in any sort of organized sport. I played t-ball, I think.
Yeah. I feel you.
But I sucked. But my mom always pushed me to do that creative stuff. So if it wasn't for my mom, I probably wouldn't be doing this stuff.
What kind of stuff were you involved with that was creative? Plays, drawings,
I went to
art shows?
I went to a magnet school, which was nice.
Wait, what is that? A magnet school?
A magnet school. No,
I don't know what that is. No.
It's kind of for the arts, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you mean.
You can almost major in.
Right, Douglas would be a magnet.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's a magnet school.
So I went to South Miami Middle School.
Okay.
You can But I went to a magnet school, but I was never in a magnet. I was just around all the kids who were in magnets. So I was always, I was always drawing, and that's how I used to make friends when I was a kid too. Like I remember I moved in elementary school. I moved from like one school to another, like because we moved like districts or whatever in Miami, and I had no friends. I remember the first day of school, I like drew, I was just sitting there bored, and I drew like I had a folder with like an M&M on it, with like one of the M&M characters on it, and I drew it, like copied it pretty much, like just drew it, and like everybody was like, "Whoa,
this kid's cool. He can draw.
This guy doodles." Like, no way. And that was it. That was it. Made some homies, and then that was pretty much how I always like made friends, made connections, was just drawing, and my mom always pushed me to like play, like I played guitar, like I had long hair, like I mean, if I wish we could like exhibit A of like my terrible hair.
We'll put some
stuff up there.
Oh, great! Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, I had long hair in middle school. I was like a little rocker kid. And I like played instruments and like that. My brothers always used to rag on me when I was a kid because I was like, they never did that.
Yeah,
right.
I was always into that kind of stuff. And but then once I figured out I could make some money off it, that's when I decided to get into graphic design.
And that was in 2015, you said?
About 2015. I did FSCJ for 2 years, and then I transferred over to UNF. That's when I started the design program. I didn't open Photoshop until that first day of school at UNF. Like, I didn't like I never stepped foot into that. I knew what it was. I just never touched it.
So in the curriculum, they put you right into Adobe day one.
Yeah, day one. I mean, like I wasn't alone. Like there were some other people who were in it, but like you pick it up quick.
Yeah.
Right.
And then so I did their design program, and I graduated in right in my senior year. I got my first internship with the Jags.
Yeah.
I knew I'd wanted to be in design. I knew I wanted to be a graphic designer. I just didn't know what to do.
Right.
I didn't know where to go. Like I just knew I wanted to do it. And I had my first. I was working at Lululemon at the time, and I had a guy would come in. His name was Adriel Roca, who is now the VP of Community Impact at the Jags. So but he would come into Lulu, and we would just chop it up, and he told me he worked for the Jags, and like I wasn't a Jags fan at the time. I was a Dolphin fan because I'm from Miami. So like, he would say the Jags. I was like, okay, yeah, I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
like cool, like go Dolphins, like whatever.
Right.
Like what am I gonna do? Ask you for tickets to a game? I don't care.
Yeah.
But he was cool. But he was cool. I would just help him. I don't even think I even gave him a discount. Like I think I just like was just good customer service with him. We were always just cool. We chopped it up, and he came in and one day and was like, hey, I'm hiring an intern in the foundation, and it's like you just don't really need to be studying anything. Like you don't need to know anything about community. You just gotta just do what I say.
Right.
Just listen to what you do and do what I say. And I'm like, all right, cool. I could do that. I almost told him no. But that was, and I didn't even think of sports as a outlet for me. Like I never, because one, I wasn't really, I paid attention to sports by this time in college. I started caring more about sports, but I never like saw it as a career path.
That wasn't option A for you.
No, it wasn't. No,
right.
It wasn't even on that. It might have been like option X. It was down there. So, not because I hated it. I just didn't even know. It was. I just, I think at the time, I swear, I probably thought that the players were making the graphics for all I care.
Right. Like,
but at the time too, sport design wasn't what it is now.
It's not.
Like it's like graphics and sports like are looked at
Things
now.
have come a long way.
Yeah, a long way since I've been on like. So from what I so that's probably why maybe at the time I didn't even think so much of it, because the way social media has changed and the way that social graphics have become like competitive in a way.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
It wasn't like that back then for sure. So now seeing it now, I understand it now. And now there's so many people trying to hop in this industry. But
also a lot of really great opportunities in life, I feel like, stumble upon you.
Oh, yeah.
You don't
100%.
even know that you're going to do it. And then it just starts happening and you're like, wait, this is
100%.
Probably what I was supposed to do the whole time.
100%. I feel like a majority of like the opportunities that have come to me, I've never gone to look for. They've kind of have just appeared in front, and I
agree.
And I just
capitalize.
You just know. A lot of times when an opportunity is knocked, I've known that it's the right thing to do or not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. Not that like it's first time, like I have to sit and really think about it. But I'm always like, I feel like that's with anything, not even just in jobs, like women and friends and career.
Everything.
Like you just like let it happen and it'll come right to you.
100%.
And you'll know right there. So yeah, So when Adriel came to me and offered me the internship role, he was like, I know you don't even want to be in, or like, I know you don't even want to be in community, but you could use this as a foot in the door.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll do that. So my senior year, I was in my first internship. So I was in school and doing the design or the foundation internship. And that was like, I was lifting boxes. I was just moving stuff around, taking notes.
Were you at the stadium every day or
stadium?
something?
Yeah. Just straight
side work.
My first like internship job, my first internship like task, I'll never forget, was Miles Jack was having Miles Jack like made candles. Like I don't know why. He just made candles. He loved making candles. And
interesting.
I remember he was having like a backpack giveaway for back to school. And so he was going to give the kids all candles. So he made a bunch of candles and he gave Adriel the box. And if you opened the box, all the candles were like just covered in wax. Like they were like dirty. Like he had like just hadn't cleaned them. So it was my job to take the candles, take them home. And I cleaned all the candles off the wax, or all the wax off the candles. And it was so hard because like I had a system down. I like had a boiling pot of water and I would dip the candle in because you have to get the candle wax warm and wipe it off, dude.
That sounds a little
pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's a pain.
Pain in the ass, but it was good.
But hey, Miles Jack wasn't down though either.
Right, Miles Jack wasn't down. Yeah, exactly. So I had to do it.
So,
exactly.
Like random.
So
That's
I
the
had
last person. That's the last thing I would think.
He loves candles, bro. He loved his candles.
That's so funny.
That was like I did that first internship and that was nice. And that was 2019, and that kind of bled into 2020.
Right.
Which is when I graduated, and I graduated April, I think, April 2020 or May 2020.
That sounds right.
And I did a 5th year, victory lap.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way.
No, nothing wrong with the victory lap. And then I graduated in COVID. I was still doing the internship, and obviously COVID happened, everything shut down. But it was nice because as much as COVID was bad for a lot of people, I thought I had a pretty good COVID. I graduated. My brother had a kid. My sister got engaged or got married. Like there was a lot of good things that had happened in 2020.
Were you working on any graphic design things while you were doing that internship? Because it seemed like it was more pencil pushing work.
So while I was in that internship, that's where the foot in the door kind of I had to make myself, right? Like I at the time the Instagram for the foundation didn't have anything going for it. It existed. It wasn't good. So Adriel kind of let me run that, which was kind of my first introduction of running like a somewhat of a pretty big like Instagram account.
Yeah.
Right.
I was doing it in my fraternity, Rush Pike. And I was doing it for a while. Yeah. All day, baby. I was running it for my fraternities at the time. So I helped run it for my, for the foundation, and I was doing some graphics for them. I would talk to the creative director and just be like, hey, like if you guys need help, like, I'm going to do this. I would show him stuff. So I kind of created a dialogue with the creative director and kind of got on their good side. And I even helped with like some projects, like some like printing projects for the foundation. But the foundation gave me a platform and a reason that like I saw that they were lacking.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to
show my worth.
Offer up. Yeah.
They kind of give you
skill.
free reign to just
they trusted me, and I showed them what we were doing.
Yeah, what you could do.
And from 2019 to now, Instagram's totally different.
For sure.
Yeah.
But so it wasn't as much work, but it was, enough. It was more than what they had. And I saw that there was a lack, and I kind of found my way in there. And I think Adriel, my mentor, he's still my mentor. I talk to him every day. He's one of my homeboys. He's always like, you always need to make yourself what's the word? Indisposable. Almost make yourself so valuable, and even in such a small little like part of what you do that like they cannot get rid of you.
Right.
You know what I mean, or that they would have to hire like 2 other people to do the job that you do, because that makes yourself like so like
you're invaluable at that point. Right. Yeah.
And like obviously everybody's disposable if you really think about it. Like the Jags could fire me right now, and there would be somebody ready to step up in 2 seconds because there's so many people. But you got to create value in yourself, and you're able to kind of plead your case whenever you can.
100%.
How would you say that you're creating value to make yourself stand out among the crowd?
I mean, man, if you go and look at my portfolio, it's at Jaguars. No, I mean,
I'll tell them.
No, a lot of that stuff is you though, right? Or it's your team.
Yeah, Jags, man. Yeah. I mean, we do a lot of good stuff at the team. And we're just my whole team. We push the envelope, and like than what's ever been done like before. Like when I first started, like the social team was good, but then we kind of came in and actually had a team, a good hand of people. And we're just making we're making like waves, man. It's so nice being able to like be a small market team and make numbers that we do and have the platform that we do. Last season we got ranked 5th of social teams. Complex Sports does they do like a ranking of Twitter accounts, and we got like 5th. I think the year before that we were like 15th. 16th. So
I mean, that's huge.
We're making. I think the year before that we were even lower. So it's like we're in that top 5 spot. And so we look. It's become one. It shows that it's competitive. And like Complex is a pretty big media outlet. So like it shows that our market's growing. It shows that like social media and graphics and Twitter and memes, like it's
in now.
It's a part of marketing.
100%.
Like it's a part of our everyday lives, and like it's a part of pop culture. Like there's still people that I'll run into that will be like, man, I remember that one graphic you did like 2 years ago. So it's like, people still remember these like little stupid things that we look at on our phones, which blows my mind.
Do you have a favorite graphic that you've done recently, or maybe one that was like just you knocked out? I mean, obviously all of them are really good, but do you have like one of like what's your favorite? And we'll show it on the screen.
I think like one of my most recent ones that I'm super proud of was I did the Messi and Ronaldo edit with Trevor and CJ. That was just for this last week's game.
You're playing chess, right?
Yeah, and they're playing chess. Like there's the photo of the two of Messi and Ronaldo playing chess, and I kind of edited it to have Trevor and CJ playing. I thought it was kind of, I wanted to do it for the Bengals game. Yeah. But Burrow's hurt, so I wanted him to go against Burrow, but CJ's pretty, it worked out. I was pretty proud of that graphic. It was something I hadn't done in a while. I think also too, one thing I'll always be proud of is that it was always the Jags towels from
that was you
playoff. Yeah, I made the towels. If you
nice,
I saw those everywhere.
Yeah, and I still see them too. I mean, people got them now. I remember they were selling on eBay for tons of money. And that was one of my like. It wasn't not the design itself wasn't like hard, but it was just probably like.
Would you say that's the one that blew up the most?
I mean, they printed them and made them into towels.
Yeah,
and I think what's good about it too is how quick you're able to kind of like see that as something and capitalize on it with making towels. Like, hey, it was Andrew Wingard that said it right, and he said it like right after the game. So I'm sure like the next day at work, y'all are like, we need to make this into something.
Right. It spread like wildfire.
Right.
And our ear is always to the streets. Like we're on Reddit, we're on Twitter, like we're Jags Twitter, we're locked in. So whenever something's catching fire, like we're the first to kind of we see it, we activate on it if we can, you know what I mean? And if it makes sense for us, like there's some stuff that we can't really like, I can't think of one right now, but we got to assess like, is this going to work for us or not? And then we like to work with the player who said it. Like we did when we made the towels, we got with Dewey and we're like, hey, like we're going to make a hype video for the towel. It's like him coming out and holding up the towel and he's looking at it. Like, that was my whole project from like, kind of like, they were like, we want to do towels. I was like, let me design the towels.
I have really liked how like, because I've been a Jaguar fan my whole life. But even like this past year or two, just seeing how interactive like I feel that I can be with the players like on Instagram, like they're like y'all are videoing them on the field and they're talking to me or talking to the phone, but it feels like you're kind of getting to see them in like a different sense too, and be a little more personable with them. And that's what I like as a fan. So that's really cool too.
We kind of call that helmet off content. We want to show like that's our mission as the team. Helmet off is like my buddy or our social media manager Charlie Jordan. He's always like helmet off content. That's like what we call it. So it's like showing the guys more than just a number on the field.
Yeah, more than just a player.
Right, and
they're a human being.
Right, and there's so many good dudes on this team. Too. Like there's so many just good personalities. That mix really well, which is also a fun part about being in social. Because I get to like. I get to
get really close with the players.
Right. I get to like create relationships with these guys and like, so that, and it's good to have those too, because when we do go out there and get that kind of stuff and I'm like shoving my phone in their face, like, they're like, who's this asshole? Who the fuck is this guy?
Just Devin.
Well, sometimes they probably do say that. They're like, who the fuck is this?
At that point, it's probably just banter. Like,
they're like, dude, God. I remember for Halloween, I went in the locker room with, I was in a shark onesie and I went in there and I saw that. I went trick or treating to their lockers.
In their lockers?
They're just like, dude, what are you doing?
Hey, someone's got to do it though.
Someone's got to just do it. The year before that, I dressed up as Santa and I went asked them what they wanted for Christmas or something like that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
How has it been though? You've been there since 2019.
2019.
So obviously this has been probably our best year within the last since you've been working there. What's this year been like in comparison to like I guess like the atmosphere and like the overall like camaraderie of like not even just the team but just like the the whole office and the whole design team? Like how's that been?
It's good, man. It's good.
Yeah.
We I started in social 20. I think that would be probably 21 is when I started in social, and that was like the year we hired Urban.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a tougher year, and to go from like,
not to cut you off, but what was that like? Because I've heard some stuff whenever Urban got hired that it was.
Yeah, it wasn't I never dealt with him like, you know what I mean,
directly.
like not like obviously not like a player
Right.
does, you know what I mean? I mean, I created the creative when he came in, and I remember having to wake up in the middle of the night and make a graphic saying that he was getting fired, and
that's about
like it's just like it was stressful, man. It was stressful not because of like he did anything physically to us or he did anything to us, and it was just
you're losing your head coach. It's stressful,
right?
Yeah.
And like we're just reading the comments.
Big
like,
part of
I read the comments like all the time.
Yeah.
If you're commenting, I'm reading it for the most part. Like,
Yeah.
And so that was tough. I remember my first year; it was a little tougher because it was just so negative.
People are just hating all the time.
We couldn't post anything, no matter how good the graphic was.
Right.
Still, it was just no good graphic will
Right.
affect what happened. Because I mean, what I do is little in comparison to like obviously the team.
100%.
We amplify the team's message, so it's our job to amplify what they're saying and what
Right.
they're doing on the field.
Yeah.
So what I do is nothing, but
Right.
But it feels good that like at least
back when we
maybe
had
I can
one
help.
win,
I was
running it.
I was there with one win, so it was nice.
Yeah.
But from what it is like now, man, it's like day and night, man. It feels good. It feels good. Everybody's happy. Even from last year, like on that little 5-game streak we had at the end, and the playoffs and the Charger game.
That was
such
unreal.
a sick game. I was there for that.
I mean, some good stuff.
Which
man.
is funny too, because I've seen that like that Charger game always gets replayed, and there's like it gets to the end, and I see you just down there on the field with your phone, just like video and everything. I'm like,
Dude.
oh, there's Devin on the field.
Dude, I was probably the best game of football I've ever been to in my
Oh
life.
my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got some good picks from that game.
I think that's the loudest football game I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, I was in the press box the whole time, and I could just hear the crowd. You see the crowd. And it was cold.
Yeah.
Everybody's in their jackets. Like it was just the memories from that game I'll have forever. So like that's kind of like when I think about when I started to where I'm at now, it's like it's just crazy to see like because the team gets better. You know? I got to be there when Trevor got drafted.
Right.
And I've kind of gone through. I feel like as I'm growing in my career. Like
you're watching them grow.
I'm watching.
You're watching the Jags
he's
grow
just
as well.
becoming Trevor fucking Lawrence.
Trevor fucking Lawrence.
You know what I mean? And like I'm just being Devin fucking Carvajal, like making memes. So.
Which again, to the memes point, I did see something yesterday where it looks like the Jaguars and the Steelers are the top 2 NFL trolls team. What is that? What is
so every week the ESPN does an article called Top Trolls.
Okay.
So that's a weekly stat?
Yeah, it's a weekly. It's like they always like highlight like who had the best like kind of win graphic.
Memes of the week?
Yeah, like win graphic of the day of the Sunday.
Right,
football
okay.
game. Like usually it's win.
Yeah.
I think we made it the last few times when we
Was that the one recently of the Texans where
Trevor's
holding the ball?
Yeah, from dodgeball.
Is that why you got ranked?
Mm-hmm.
That one's
we
funny.
we got that one. I think we got on with the
Slide Rid, maybe? That was good.
Slide Rid was good, but no, what was the win on that one? When did we win? When was the last time we won?
Was it Tennessee?
The last 3
Oh,
games.
the Titans game. We did the mayonnaise we got on the mayonnaise one with the Titans win.
With the Titans, yeah.
The terrible towel one with the napkins.
Yeah.
So I think those kind of win graphics have been fun. That started with the first graphic we did that started that kind of series where we like put Jags win and like something in the front was the Charger. It was like it was not the broken Charger.
Which was also good.
Yes, that's like my claim to fame. It's like
So whenever you first started, were you guys like making memes and stuff like this, or what? Has there been kind of like a recent transition into more of like the comedic side of NFL posts?
They've always been there, but now they're like at another level of competitiveness, especially when like you see like top trolls. Like ESPN does an article about it.
Yeah.
Who trolled the hardest? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they'll highlight stuff on Instagram or not on Instagram on they'll highlight stuff on like Good Morning Football and like there's segments on this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it was happening, but it wasn't as much attention on it as it was. So
it is
now
now.
once there's more attention on it, the rest of us are like, all right, how are we doing this again? So every week it's like, all right, how are we trolling these people?
Right.
Yeah.
I want to take you back to what you were talking about earlier when you were in the locker room and you're doing all sorts of stuff, interacting with players. Do you have like an individual player that you would say you've kind of garnered the most relationship with?
Man, that's a tough one. I used to have a couple guys like I really was really like I thought my relationship with Marvin Jones was pretty cool. Like I've done work for him since he's been gone. Like, you know, and that's what's been nice. Like I
kind of like freelance stuff.
Yeah, I've been able to kind of like help freelance with some guys. Like, you know, if they're looking for graphic help, like they know that, like, you know, I'd help them out if they hit me up. So
right.
I mean, but I would think, yeah, Marvin Jones, me and him were pretty cool. I mean, I'm not like I'm not going to bars with these dudes, you know. But I think it's fun. But, you know, I think you know, Trev sees me coming. He knows I'm asking him something. If Kirk, I think I'm always going to like Cisco and Daniel Thomas, the DBs. Those guys are always fun to ask. I always get messed with by the O linemen. Those guys are clowns, man. They're so funny. They're like giant.
They're so big.
They're
so
just
big.
giant men, but they're funny, man. Yeah, you just kind of just build those. I wouldn't say there's like one. I just think like they know when we walk in. Like I don't feel like there's any sort of way to like. I don't feel uncomfortable approaching anybody because they've seen me. Unless it's usually somebody new, but usually from like their first day in. Like if it's a draft pick, we're in there. To one of us is in there, like introducing ourselves and making sure they know that we are, because they're gonna be seeing a lot of us.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And earlier we were kind of talking about your transition from the internship into, you know, the actual job. Obviously, we've talked about a million and one things in between.
For sure.
What kind of was the transition moment for you from, obviously you were making a ton of content with, you know, running the initial page after your internship. What transitioned you into, you know, really focusing in on the Jags and kind of moving to the position that you're at now?
When I went from intern to, I got another internship as a designer, and then I got hired full time as just a graphic designer. So I was in our design department. Like we have a graphic design team, but nobody specifically working on social creative. So I was kind of taking initiative myself, and like they started assigning it to me. But then I started kind of being like, oh, like there's a meme out there that's like kind of trending right now, and I kind of would just make it and send it. You know what I mean? So I was kind of taking my own initiative of like, because I love seeing my stuff on the page.
Obviously,
you know? You
want
like
to see your stuff on there.
Because at the end of the day, I'm an artist, you know? Like I do put a lot of my own effort in my, like it's like a piece of myself. You got to be creative, and like it's not just like templates, you know? It's like I'm making something new and fresh usually every time. So I love seeing my work on there, and I love seeing it. And they never questioned it. I would make it. They were like, this is dope. Let's do it. So we hired our director of digital, Nick Birdsong. And I started kind of working with him, and he was kind of running the Instagram at the time, and I was making the graphics, and then I was already a designer, and he was like, hey, like, I think we're going to start building the social team a little bit more. Why don't you come and be the designer for just social?
Yeah.
And just kind of be our guy. Cause,
you
know, before me, it was like if you wanted like a stat graphic or if you wanted a meme, you would have to like put it in a request, and it kind of took some time, and it wasn't as quick. And nowadays in social, you want to be like fast. Like you want to be like on
the first one to post it.
On the money. Like you want to be the first to do the trend or first to start a trend. So that's what that kind of we were lacking, was that speed.
Yeah.
I think I kind of brought the speed. And so he offered me that, and I got moved to social, and I just have been cooking since. So then recently I've been doing a lot more. I've been designing still, but I'm starting to get into the creative direction, leading projects, kind of having my hand in like a lot of the like kind of outward facing campaigns that we do.
Such as?
I had a lot of hand in the LaFave drop that we recently did.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of
that. That's really cool.
That's probably my favorite project that I've been able to kind of work on. That was like an over 2-year project.
Who's the guy that started that?
That's Casey.
Casey
Favor, man. That guy's a stud.
And how's it pronounced? It's
his last name or his like
the brand?
LaFave.
Okay.
Yeah, LaFave. Yeah.
Because I see it everywhere, but I didn't know it was like LaFavre or LaFave.
No,
but it's
LaFave, yeah. He's a good dude to work with. Like I always love helping out people. Like I love like working with people that like I feel that are like truly genuine in what their craft, and he's probably one of the most like genuine dudes working in this town. Like he is like so on the money. Like he truly believes in his product, and he's not in the business of quick bread.
Right.
Yeah.
He's super, super patient. Like he won't do it unless it's right. So I look up to him in that sense. And from the minute that we met, I knew that like we had to do something with the dude.
Mm-hmm.
So is that is built in with the Jags, or is that kind of a side project for you?
So that's through the Jags.
That is
through the Jags.
Yeah.
We started off as a giveaway because he was already making hats that were like corduroy with like the old Jag logo on it. He was doing that before the
sweet.
Jag. Yeah. Oh, I thought they were sweet.
They are.
And I remember, like, I didn't even like know him like that. Like I just bought it. I remember I bought one of his hats because I got hired in social. I was like, this is my gift to myself.
Yeah.
And he came and he dropped it off at my house. I was like, oh, you're this dude. And he worked out at Drive at this gym that we both happened to go to. And I was like, oh, you're that guy. And then I went to Lollapalooza that one year and I ran into him at Lollapalooza. So I just kind of kept running into this guy.
Yeah.
And so we were looking for somebody to come in and like have as like a giveaway for our season ticket members, like trying to give them like a package and like a cool kind of item.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I know this guy who does corduroy hats. And so we brought him in. We did the first round of those and we didn't sell them. We just gave them away. That's how we were able to kind of get through like the legalities of stuff. As long as we were giving them away, we weren't making any money on them.
Yeah.
Put them in the hats. And then we were like, all right, well, it was so successful. We created such a want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like, they're
Such
like
demand for
there's
those corduroy hats.
Right.
Yeah.
They were crazy. They were.
I think I tried to like get on one time to buy something at like 904 and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But my
Still.
roommate at the time got one. But
He
So they're selling out like right as they drop.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The dude. I've never seen a dude have such a like. I've never seen a local brand have such a. Well, I don't even call him local anymore. But I've never seen a guy who's a local guy like have such a chokehold on a community. Like everybody, they're gone.
I mean, the thing that he does, like even like the simple orange that he does too, like that just adds so much more to it. You know what I mean?
He's gonna have a drop coming out right now that I'm gonna get. Or not now, but it's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Is it with Jackson? Was it with the Jaguars or a different team?
Just his own. No, his own.
It's his own drop.
He's been doing stuff with like other teams. Like he's been doing stuff a lot with college teams. But we're the only NFL team. He's from Jacksonville, so like this is like his home team. So
I wonder if he's gonna do some FSU stuff.
he's already done
He has
FSU.
already done some
Dude,
FSU
he's done
stuff,
FSU
yeah.
stuff.
I
He's
need
done
to-
like I think he's done 2 FSU drops.
I-
He's done 2
I,
Gator drops.
Yeah.
I need to get some FSU merch.
Yeah.
But we so once that first like kind of collaboration where we gave out hats
Yeah.
worked so well, we were like, all right, let's plan for 904 day
Yeah.
2023. And this was back in 2022, and I was like, God, it seems like it's so far away.
Yeah.
But
Comes quick.
come a year later, here we are, and we got the drop. We had we got him a deal with New Era. We got him licensing to print Jag stuff. We had photo shoots. We had player involvement. I mean, Trevor wears his stuff already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so he's got that natural connection. But, I mean, from
Did Trevor just like see his on socials like, hey,
pretty sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's how it went. Like,
that's how nice this stuff is. Go check it out.
Go check it out.
I mean, he doesn't need a lot of promotion because he's wearing them in press conferences and stuff. And I think they have they've built a relationship, I think, through that.
Yeah.
But man, like his stuff's been so good, and it's just been so rewarding to see like him as a local guy. Like, I remember we had just finished up a photo shoot and we had put his logo up on the Jumbotron, like as a part of the shoot. And I remember we went and we took him up to go see it. And when he saw it, he started crying. And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
and like, I was just awesome to see, you know what I mean? Like a dude who is like that. That's the joy I get from this like kind of stuff, is like being able to like do things through this. The Jaguars give me a platform to where we're able like to create like
Kind of express
experiences
yourself.
and create moments for like local dudes like that, and like
that's sweet.
highlight these local dudes and like,
Yeah.
do cool shit like that. So I love that project was the shit for me.
So you were actually designing some of his pieces, or what
I
was
did
your involvement?
I did the social stuff for it.
Okay.
He did a lot of the. I mean, it's his brand. That was the
Yeah.
one thing we didn't want to take it over. Like we were
Right.
like, look, this is your brand. Like we're just gonna all look at it together, But you design, you do your thing. I helped a little bit with the social stuff and like on our end, like what we put on our channels. But he designed all the clothing. I mean, we looked at different artists. We looked at different like to the collars to the what logos went on where. Like we looked at all that kind of stuff. So just from the initial like kind of some meeting setups to like to everything in between, we were kind of just always had a hand in, like even in all the photo shoots and like and all that kind of like the creative marketing stuff on it was the most fun part. But yeah, I mean, I've been locked in with that whole project, and it's been nice to see. We just had the second drop, which was the last drop that we had, with the white hat and the white polo and stuff. So it's just nice to see that wrapped up.
100%.
It was such a long project, but it was so sick to just see it finally like get out.
Yeah.
For sure. So obviously, you know, in creative content, there's so many things that you can make, but just like any artist, I feel like, you know, a lot of artists have moments where they, you know, hit walls. What's kind of like a major obstacle that you've had to overcome in content creation, and what have you done to kind of push yourself through?
Sure. I mean, I get creative blocked for sure sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have moments of being burnt out.
Yeah.
But that doesn't tell me to stop. Like, I'm not like,
Yeah.
I'm tired. Like, I need to go lay down. I need a mental health day. Like, I don't do none of that. Like, I just go until I can't.
Yeah.
How I see, I mean, I don't know. I haven't like hit like it's tough to say because I do get those creative blocks, and that's such a hard question for me because I haven't
Is there
really
something
been able to
specifically that you do just to overcome the block, and it just kind of you have like a
I
breakthrough?
see you've been running a lot.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, the running helps. It's definitely exercising. I love just like having a good time. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a big like, if I can have, as long as like I can have a good weekend, or if
Work
I can
hard,
just
play hard.
Yeah.
like, you know, I definitely play as hard as I work for sure. And like, as long as I feel like I've like kind of filled up my tokens for the weekend, you know, if I've spent time with my fam, or, you know, or if I, you know, have a really good weekend with the boys, like,
Yeah.
you know, and we just make a couple memories. And if I can come back on the Monday and have like a great story to tell, or, you know,
Yeah.
I feel better about, you know, my work, and like I kind of can see that. So as long as I get to play, my work's.
Would you say that's where you like draw some of your creativity from? Is some of like your outside experiences?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm always I forget what you call it. I'm always studying the game. Like I'm always like, I'm on social all the time, like looking at what are other teams doing in the design community, because the design community is changing all the time. Like what's trending, what's hot.
Yeah.
You know, what's trending in our field, and in sports design, and just in design in general. So I'm always studying the game. I'm always looking at it. I've got like folders on my phone that I save graphics at, and I love the way that this team did this, or this artist did that. So I'm always trying to like stay on top of what is hot, what's not.
Do you have any like designers or artists that you look up to fully, that they're like,
Oh man,
if you had to name one or two?
I hate this because I totally know them. Hang on, I'm gonna look them up.
Hey, we got time.
We got time. Okay, cool. Because there's some sick dudes out there that are just like.
I'm sure you follow like a ton of them on your social pages.
You probably don't even know.
I do. I know. I like just save a lot of their work. There's a lot of dudes like in the industry. There's one guy I really like right now who works for the Falcons. He's pretty badass. God dang it. Fuck. Can't remember their names. This is where I'm not.
It's gonna come to you tonight, like in the middle of your sleep.
He's like, dude, what the fuck?
That happens to me all the time. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and like,
This is what I meant to say.
oh, that's what I meant to say like 6 hours ago.
Well, whatever. If I can, I'll remember it on the drive home. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's what I love about the like sport community is that like we do all follow each other.
Yeah.
We're always like on Twitter, especially like
So you're connected with all the other teams' social pages and stuff.
Yeah, like just their designers.
They're
like,
designers,
Yeah,
yeah.
like we're always like kind of just commenting on each other's work, or we're kind of looking up to each other. Just kind of like, or I'll like we'll even if it's like they work on like the team I'm playing. Like I'm always
Yeah.
like, dang, like that's a great graphic. Like,
Yeah.
There's just some good stuff out there. I'm not the best designer in the world, but when I see like what I think wins me over is like my personality. I think I'm easy to work with. I think I'm very confident in my work. I'm confident in myself. And my work just, you know, happens to be pretty decent.
Yeah.
But there's some really good graphic designers out there. And I remember like being in college, and there were some badasses in my classes.
Right.
They weren't like, they kind of sucked.
Uh-huh.
Not like sucked, but like they just weren't like,
Couldn't talk to people. Couldn't.
right. Like,
Didn't have it all.
That's so huge.
You have to have the networking aspect, no matter what
Yeah.
business that you're in,
Yeah.
whether it's graphic design, computers, real estate. I mean, if you don't have the capability to shake hands and put yourself in front of people, you're not going to make the connections that are going to take you to
Big
the next
time.
level, no matter what business it is. So
Big time.
I think that's probably a big part of why you're doing so well for yourself is, you know, you're able to articulate and, you know, be yourself and not really care what people think and just go and put yourself out there. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's the first step.
Yeah, there's like, it's very sad. I mean, like I said, like 5 years ago, I don't know how much of an industry was like in the demand for sport creatives. Like I said it earlier, like I can get fired today and there'd be somebody ready to step up and do what I do. Like I I talk to people a lot on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm always I feel like I try to talk to as many people as I can, like when they hit me up through Instagram or LinkedIn on like advice for how to get out and or how to get in front of. And it's way different from because I kind of stumbled into where I was at. I was lucky enough to get offered a role, and once I had my foot in the door, it was just,
right.
not an easy climb, but it was, I knew how to get
it was in front of you.
It was in front of me, and I just had to make it happen.
Do you have any advice for maybe the kid that's maybe, 17 or 18 working at that airport restaurant, or what was airport?
I was working at the sandwich shop.
That maybe wants to get into graphic design or something that's in the same, likable career as you.
Just cook, just always be like, I have an Instagram account that's just for my art pages, Carvajal Designs. Or is it no?
I think it's Carvajal Creative.
Hey. Carvajal Creative.
How do I know it and you don't?
I don't know. Always post your work.
Yeah.
If you want to be in sports specifically, players and athletes are so accessible these days. Like, I remember I made graphics for when I was working, I was like an intern, and I was making graphics for I'm a big Heat fan. Go Heat! I was making Heat graphics for fun. You know what I mean? With no true intention of
putting them on Instagram and stuff.
Putting them on Instagram.
Yeah.
And Tyler Harrow made a graphic I created as his profile picture for a year. It was
That's sweet.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? So it's I'm tagging Bam Adebayo and he's sharing it to his story. And then it got enough attention from some Heat players that he asked me to do some illustrations for an art. I did one for International Art Day for the Heat, and I did a cover for their Game Day magazine in COVID while they were in the playoffs.
Nice.
So it's just from and I was working at the Jags at the time. So it's even I didn't ask, that exposure itself was great, but what I'm saying, Instagram is just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just make it. Who cares?
Just do it,
And make sure you're tagging appropriately. People will, I don't do any sort of advertising. I just post my work and people
appreciate
do it themselves. It's all,
they share it.
It gets out, and as long as you're making work that you're one, be good. Don't be bad at graphic design. I would say that's the first thing.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Don't be bad at graphics if you want to be a graphic designer. But post your work. Doesn't matter.
Consistency.
Post your work. And connect with people. I have people that hit me up a lot through my socials to kind of get the similar advice, and sometimes I'm oh yeah, okay, yeah, but then some people approach it the wrong way.
Right.
I get some really not bad, but I'm just dude, come on,
yeah,
y'all hiring.
Yeah, come on, man.
I'm dude, no. You know what I mean? Try to, instead of asking somebody if you're hiring, or instead of trying to just be I am a young professional pursuing my career in graphic design and sports arts. I could, try to just make a connection with somebody first.
And show your worth, kind of like what you were doing with the foundation stuff, kind of taking the reins and showing initiative that, hey, this is what I'm working on, and you're showing someone. It's not hey, I want this. It's hey, I did this on my own time.
You didn't have to tell me.
Check it out.
Check it out and let
show
me know.
initiative. 100%. That was probably a big reason why I got to where I was at. But it's all about getting in that position too.
For sure.
So I was able, obviously for me it was a little different because it was offered, I got offered a role. I wasn't looking for the role. Doesn't happen to everybody. And that's where I say connect with everybody, because you never know.
You connected with that guy working at Lululemon too. Exactly. Yeah. And that you had no idea that he was going to.
Stuff just stumbles.
It just stumbles then. Yeah. And then I remember, and then it's funny too, because I was trying to get a job for someone else, through someone else that I did try to hit him up with the I'm trying to get into the job here.
Right.
Never hit me up. But then the dude who I never hounded or hollered at
came to you.
Came to me.
Yeah.
Showed and I thought that was, honestly, that was kind of a reason why I started working with Casey at LaFave, because you get people all the time that are yo, man, let's collab, bro.
Yeah.
Let's collab. I hate that word, collab.
Collab.
Let's collab, dog. I don't want to collab with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. It depends if you're good. But what I loved about Casey was that his he was just genuine.
Yeah.
He wasn't looking to do this. He didn't ask if he could be this guy. It was he just posted his work.
Yeah.
His work spoke for itself.
Yep.
And that attracted me to want to work, to have him work with us. And so it's I feel in a similar light, if you just own what you do and you're proud of your work, you're going to get noticed no matter what.
Yeah.
100%, man.
So you were talking about that Chargers game and how much that left an impact on you. What would you say? Would you say that, or would you say another is one of like the coolest experiences you've ever had working for an NFL team? Because you've obviously been probably in some crazy places and done some crazy things just because of that.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off, but I think London looked pretty cool. You were there for like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, London was sick. That was this is my second year in London.
Yeah.
Second year in London.
I did London last year. We only were there one weekend. One of the craziest weekends of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put this on air. So we can talk about what happened in London offline.
Let's do that.
But London was awesome. And like, it's just cool to like be able to travel with your coworkers. You get so close. Like I love my team. Like I love Charlie, Amon, like Will, Jen, and Nick, like, and Cam. Like we're like all so tight. Like we like go through the motions, you know, like when we lose, we're all sad together. When we win, we're all happy together, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, obviously our job does better when the team performs well. So when they're doing well, like we're in a better mood. So it's nice, like when we go to London, you know, we all get to travel and like really like kind of like, it's like you're on a vacation with your friends, you know.
You basically are, yeah.
And
you're a work family.
And it's crazy. It's like, because sometimes it doesn't feel like work. Like sometimes I come home and like my roommate, he works in construction management and he tells me about his day and who he has to deal with. And I'm like, yeah.
Dang, that sucks.
I dress up as a shark and I interviewed players in the locker room today, you know, so it doesn't feel like work a lot. But yeah, man, London's cool. And then London this last year was also great too. Got to be there for like 12 days.
Yeah.
And we got 2 wins, which was nice.
That was good.
12 days in London, man. Yeah. We were staying right in the heart of London. Blast. And so some of those experiences are great because that was actually the first time I went to London was the first time I've ever even traveled out of the country.
I still have not traveled out of the country besides the Bahamas, but I don't really think that counts. It's basically the Keys.
That was the first time I'd ever gone out of, like, I've been to like I've been to South America, but I've never been to Europe. It was my first time in Europe.
Europe's pretty cool.
It's
a lot of fun. You need to check out Spain if you can.
I know. I need to do more traveling. I will say that's the one thing that I need to like hone in more on is traveling.
I agree.
What does your off season look like? How much are you working on the off season?
Off season.
I mean, obviously you're working.
Obviously, I mean my off season time is like actually the time where I think I did a lot more growing than in the regular season. The regular season, it's very scripted, and when I say scripted, I mean you know what you're doing every week.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a certain graphics I need to make and get done.
Yeah.
And like
you have timelines and goals that you're hitting
every week because every Sunday there's a game. Right. So where in the off season, you know, it's like there isn't that much content. You have your temple things, you have draft, combine, maybe a couple holidays here and there. But like there's a lot of times where there's a lull, you know, and you got to kind of create, like, how do you keep your fans engaged? So it's like in those moments, I'm able to kind of do some kind of more passion projects. Like this past season, I got to do the International Surf Day thing. We had a local artist and we had a local shaper make surfboards, and then we had the local artist paint on the surfboards, and then we gave away one, and I think the other one we're going to auction off. So
nice.
That was like my project from start to finish. I found the artists, I found the shaper, I coordinated the content and the shooting, the posting. So I get to kind of do those kind of off-season things, those off-season projects, which is where I want to get into, is to get it more into the creative direction side of it, where eventually I will have to like delegate more work. Like, you know,
easily. I
don't have somebody directly under me working for me yet, but I do have to start delegating my work, you know, because I'm not always going to be able to be a graphic designer. Like at some point I'm going to have to be the person who tells the graphic designer to create and stuff. But I think I'm in there shortly, you know. I think that's my goal within the next at least 2 or 3 years, be either assistant or creative director to someone.
You have any other goals besides that?
I mean, that's long-term goals. I mean, do you see yourself with the Jags long term?
It's tough when they treat me so well.
I know. Yeah.
You know, they treat me really well. They treat me well here, man. You all saw, you all mentioned on my LinkedIn, you know, it's like I've had so much growth.
Yeah. You've had
growth. They recognize, the Jags are great. They recognize my value. They make me feel very appreciated. I've little to no overhead, so I get to so creatively. I don't feel constraint.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Like that's why it's hard for me to leave. And I mean, where else can I live like a block away from the beach?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I love this town. I love Jacksonville. Awesome. I did actually have in the off season, I had an offer to go back to Miami. I turned that down, but that was another opportunity that I wasn't looking for. But like it was good. I heard it out. It was great. It was for the Hurricanes, which is my favorite team. Go Canes! I know you're FSU boys, but go Canes! But I had the opportunity. I almost had the opportunity to go down there and do that again. My hometown, my home team.
I mean, that would have been a great experience.
Yeah.
But obviously, I think that you're in a great position in
Yeah.
what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
So
What I love about sports too is that like no matter where there's a sports team, there's like I love the city. You know what I mean? Like I love like
sure.
it's like a good area. Usually you have a sports team, so will I be a creative director for the Jaguars? Maybe. Like
Hopefully.
hopefully. Yeah.
Hopefully,
I love
yeah.
this town. I have family here.
Mhm.
But you know, I should never like
You never know.
I'm not opportunities come and things change and lives change. So it's like hard when I think about long-term goals like that, because especially when like how we said it, we've been saying it, you know, like things have just been coming. Things just come to you.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to go, I want to be this, because I'm not a person who likes to like make like I don't want to say goal is like a promise.
Yeah.
But it's almost like I don't want to talk on that until I'm like I know, like I just want to do that until
Right.
you know what I mean. I just want to do it. Like,
Yeah.
you know
I
what
agree
mean?
with you. I think it's important, at least I've found, like whenever I'm trying to progress, that as I'm setting goals, like that is a big part to set realistic, but something that's going to be really hard to achieve. And like, that's my goal moving forward.
Yeah,
and,
100%.
you know, if I make it there, great. If I don't, but I've fallen a little bit short, I've probably come a hell of a long way.
Oh, 100%.
So, you know,
Yeah.
I think it's an important part of the process.
Yeah, and I think like I said, like even like in the next 2 to 3 years, what I would love to be a creative director or an art director. And I know I can make that happen.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
Like I know that's gonna happen
For sure.
especially because I'm very confident in myself. Confidence is a huge part of what makes me who I am. So
Mhm.
course.
I'm lucky on that, because some people aren't as confident.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and even if it's sometimes if it's false in this industry, especially like no matter what, you know, fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, like you said, you got to put yourself out there and
1,000.
have the confidence to do that. So, what do you think about? Obviously, we're 8-3. We're going into the latter part of the season. What are your expectations to finish things out? Obviously, we've got the Eagles last night hitting 10-1.
Yeah.
A lot of things going on.
Chiefs the number 1 seed now.
Actually, it's the Ravens.
Oh, they are.
Oh yeah.
It's the Ravens. We play them too.
So home-
Playoffs for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I expect playoffs. I expect. I mean, I could see us run. I mean,
I could see us doing it this year.
I could
You
see
think we have a Super Bowl chance this year?
oh man, I hate.
Speaking,
I'll
into
say it.
existence.
I just don't know. I
Yeah.
like. Not saying that. I think we have like we're as good as any of these
Any
teams
of-
that are
any of the-
in contention.
NFL's so unpredictable.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's like a series. It's like one and done. Like
Yeah.
you're in or you're out.
You're in or you're
So
out.
any given Sunday, we saw that with the Chargers last year. That could
Mhm.
happen. I mean, I'll never forget that game. And if that's what if the playoffs is like that, that's my first playoff experience.
Mhm.
I was always a Dolphin fan growing up.
Yeah.
Never once did I get to see a playoff game.
Yeah.
And I physically got to be at 2. So it was
Yeah.
or pretty
Mhm.
much 2, that week 18 game.
Uh-huh.
So I expect playoffs. And I
Yeah.
expect us to compete, because
That's a good answer.
we're good.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we're just about as good as any. I think we're as good as any team out there. So
No,
I
I
agree.
agree. And really, any of the top teams can beat any of the top teams. Like you
Right.
said, it's one and out.
stacked.
And you're obviously creating other content through
Yep.
Carvajal Creative, not just, not just Jaguars stuff. Like, what are some other ways that, people listening to the show could interact with you and potentially, do business with you?
Sure. Yeah. Right now in season, I don't do much freelance. I am a freelancer though. Like I do take on like in the off season, I do a lot of freelance work, take up more of it. I have opportunities to like work with athletes, obviously, because I'm so close, which is nice. Been able to work with guys, and I've worked with local brands. I've worked with like Collect, who's like the local, they're a local vintage shop. I've done merch collabs with them, and they've been great. They've helped me out so much in like realizing that like people actually know who I am and like enjoy my work and my brand, and are willing to invest in it. Like not invest, but you know what I mean? Like spend money on it.
Right.
Which has been kind of eye-opening and humbling, because
Which I need to pick up that hat.
I think
bought
we
one.
shipped. Did you get the? I think we shipped them.
I got the email.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so I
it
need
should
to pick it up.
Yeah. Oh,
Should've
you got the
given
email
us
that.
some
Oh, they got the
merch.
email that
And they're in the store.
Oh yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
go pick it up. I
Yeah.
Should have given us some merch to rock on the show.
I know.
Yeah.
Dang, that'd be sick.
I know.
Oh dang, that's all right. Well, yeah,
Do on the next one.
the next one. And just on that, I did my first kind of personal merch drop, which was like a hat, Crush Your Enemies hat,
Mhm.
which is
I like that one a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I say it a lot. It was kind of something I always crushed.
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 Your
Crush
enemies.
It was always something I always said, like I just say crush your enemies. Is like I just say it all the time. I got it from the book 48 Laws of Power. Just like crush your enemies entirely or something like that. I forget the full quote. Which I love that book. And I kind of was just like, I'm going to make them in hats. And I made a mock-up of it. The boys liked it. And the guys that collect kind of have been pushing me to do it myself too. So I might do like a shirt or something. I don't know, down the road. It's not something I'm like going like, it's just like a side project. I'm always doing side projects. I'm always doing something, man. I can't ever just sit still. I got to be working. If I'm not moving, I'm dying. So
I feel you.
That's what that project is. But yeah, if I don't really take it. I don't have like a website or anything. Usually when all my work is through, like, if you want to hit me up through my Instagram. If you need to get work done.
Do you have like any links in your bio or anything that people can go if they want to go get the hat or any of your other stuff?
Yeah, I have the hat connected to my Carvajal creative page. And then I also have it connected on my website, which is Carvajal. I think it's carvajaldesigns.com because Carvajal Design. I haven't changed the site yet, but carvajaldesigns.com. That also has like a lot of my like kind of more work. Like I've curated my work on there.
Kind of like your portfolio.
Yeah, it's like my portfolio website. But like I mean, if you want to see any of the work I've done, just go to the Jaguars Instagram page and take a scroll.
Take a scroll.
And then stop. And then when you get to the shark video, you stop there. And you watch the whole thing. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, any last thoughts that you'd like to leave with our viewers on your journey up throughout life and, your continual journey with the Jaguars?
Yeah, man. I would say, like, I say it all the time to especially the creatives that I work with. Like, I'm like, dude, just do it. Like, not just do it, but like, don't ask for permission. Yeah. Don't ask, like, just if you have an idea, like, just get it, just make it and put it in front of people. Because when you explain, I find, especially with me, when I'm like describing an idea to somebody, nobody's gonna understand what it looks like except for me. And I know that when you see it, you're gonna love it. So just make it. Just make it. Because so what? They tell you no. At least they tell you no. But show the initiative. Because I don't know how many times I've just made something where someone was like, I don't know, like I've described it, and they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, just hang on for a second. I create it. I show it to them. And they're like, oh, okay, like fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So just make it. Don't worry about it. Because the worst thing they do is say no. And in our industry, there's going to be another opportunity to create something else again.
And you always get a little bit better.
You got to have 10 no's to get a yes, but it could be the best yes that you could have imagined. And obviously we see that in our business all the time.
Yeah, for sure. The creative community is like so different too, because it's also, you got to have tough skin. People will judge, because people, like, I mean, like I said, I read all the comments, not even just in work, but like in art in general, it's very, people have their own opinions on art.
Well, the other thing too, though, just a side note, I feel like anyone will say anything over social media. So, I mean, they wouldn't say it in real life.
Right.
I mean,
if my graphics are bad, if you see me at Pete's, come and tell me.
So I hope those comments aren't keeping you up at night.
Sometimes, I mean, some of them they do, but man, if you really got a problem with a graphic of mine, bro, you catch me at Pete's on Friday night, I'll be out there. Well, I'll be at the local first, and then I'll be at One Ocean, and then I'll
be at Pete's.
The
Lop. Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
But yeah, just the creative, you got to have tough skin, because people will, because like, even if they can't read your comments, you got to be able to take criticism and critique and constructive. Hope it's constructive, but sometimes people don't know what they're talking about. You got to be able to defer to, like, are people just hating on you, or are people actually trying to help you?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Just have tough skin and just be self-aware.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I agree.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show and spending some time with us today, brother.
Sure.
We
appreciate it.
You. Yeah, we really do. And it's been fun. We've honestly feel like I've learned so much more about you than I already know. And, got some insight on the Jags, and maybe we'll have you on again soon. But to everybody watching today, thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to Devin Carvajal's Anabasis. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.